I don't know.
Crimea.
Oh
Ooh,
fuck.
shit. Well, okay. I think someone beat us to that, but
Damn, really?
I mean, a place can be invaded by more than one person at a time.
that's true. I just feel like it would be old news
I
at
love
this
the
point.
at
Get lost in the
time.
old it would
Like-
feel like if we invaded Crimea now, it might get lost because there's already a lot of SOE out for a different
Oh, Crimea River.
God. Alrighty. I just wanted to say, whether or not we end up needing Talspire today for more than just looking pretty, there was an update with a new feature that is been a long time coming, which is it's pinging. So now you guys, if you need
Oh
to
my
point to something on the
gosh.
map,
Oh my
you can
god.
Let's
How
go.
did it take them that long?
Oh my
Okay, I will say this is the
god.
most complicated over the top implementation of pinging I've ever seen. It's
What,
actually a
it's like
3D
Apex Legends?
object. No, theirs is just useful, and they were the first people to make useful pinging. No, it's like a 3D object that is in like 3D space, and so like it pings it, but then if you like ping the underside of something, it actually like goes under it. You can ping someone's face. You can basically ping any mesh, and it'll like ping relative to where you pinged it on that object. And it stays for some time, and you can change the color of it.
That seems
So,
overkill as hell.
And it's completely overkill.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it has like transparency, so
Wait,
like
how do
you
I-
can
how
tell
do I
when it's
ping it?
behind an
How do I ping
object. The default button is T, but you can also see it next to your portrait on the side, and you can change your color
Whoa.
with the settings on the side. So
Oh.
it's also transparent if it's behind objects, and if it's off your screen, a little thing will tell you that it's off your screen, and you can click on it, and it'll switch your screen over to wherever it was pinged on the screen.
Wow.
Seems
And,
abusable. Like people just go into space.
Yes, you could abuse it. And I see you're already starting to.
Sorry.
I was like, I need to tell you about this new feature, but I knew as soon as I told you about this new feature, this is exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
But it also, so you all can set your own colors, and it also, if you've noticed in the corner, it's shaking whoever's pinging his portrait. So we know exactly whose fault it is, even if it's all the same colors.
So how do we? Oh, cool. Well, Baba will of course be the color that blends into terrain best. Pretty good. Brown's pretty good as well, though. No, actually, the green's better. There you have it.
Yeah, they were like added pinging, and I'm like, thank God. I'm like, why was this such a big, like, relatively speaking, such a big update for Tailspire? It's like 70 megs, and often Tailspire updates are like 5 megs. And I was like, I look at it and I was like, oh, this is the most complicated version of just a single ping I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I will miss the days of having to draw penises to indicate what we're pointing at. But
Oh man.
you know, the march of progress. You can't stop it.
Right. It's nice because I was the only one that had a like a good way. Well, okay, I see how it is.
I can only do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, there's a
10
segment
dots?
limitation. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, God damn it.
You'll have to abstract the penis a little bit then, I guess.
There you go, pointy penis.
There we go. Pointy penis. Reject the new, embrace tradition.
Alrighty then. But with that, anybody have any questions, comments, concerns before we get started?
There are a lot of concerns, but they're mostly not related to what's happening here, so I'm good to go.
Oh wait, fuck, this is interesting. If you
Tell me
ping a creature and you're off screen, it shows that it's a creature being pinged in the little like edge of screen marker.
Neat.
Yeah. So a very, very overthought pinging system, but it's nice. I like it.
It's in every game now.
Everybody's nose with it.
Is that like?
Like booping things nose with it. Boop.
Yeah.
Baba's got the best nose for it though, because he's got a big nose.
Big shots.
Yes, now this is now the standard. I expect Apex Legends to adopt this ping within 2 weeks. Otherwise, what are they even doing? Oh God,
You don't
even play Apex.
Does anybody play Apex?
I know. I'm pretty sure it
Yes.
died like 6 years ago, and just no one
No,
told
people
them.
still play. No,
Oh.
dude, the Apex like esports thing happened like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
people
games
who play it
playing
as
it.
their career are probably still playing it, but I don't know if people play it
Yeah.
for fun anymore.
I mean, I was looking at their Steam chart, and like the Apex Legends player numbers are about the same as when it started, like the first day.
Well, to be fair, it blew up on the first day. So honestly, having that many players is probably
It's still decent.
good.
It's like
Uh-huh.
it's like 126k concurrent, or peak. But
Yeah,
it's not the 400,000 peak it had not that long ago.
yeah. I was fucking. There was some similar stat I looked up like not too long ago. I was talking with probably one of you, probably someone here about Counter-Strike, and it was one of those things like I imagine it's dying, and I look it up, and it's like their player numbers are just going up, and I'm like, how the fuck does that work?
Oh yeah, that was probably me then.
Yeah.
Then again, you probably talked to a lot of people about Counter Strike. Goddamn, AWP addict.
Yeah, because people are like, isn't that a dying game? It's like I thought so too, honestly, but no,
Yeah,
it's only going up.
That game will outlive civilization, my dude.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, and righteously so.
Like we will experience the apocalypse, and people will just be playing Counter Strike in real life.
Most likely. All right. I just realized I have no water in front of me, so I need that. But then I started as soon as I
no.
get back.
No water?
I like that we can follow each other's like little sprite balls. Like little mouses. Ooh, like we're little fairies. Fairies.
This is like new D&D game where all just will-o-wisps.
Yeah.
Are you okay? That sounded
No,
rough.
I don't,
You
I,
okay?
yeah, I don't know. I'm like happy with it.
Well, we're will-o-wisp
Hello,
at chain
Buster.
smoke.
I have my sub back. Hell yeah, I'll make you a sub charm later. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yay!
Are you wearing your special Valentine's Day hat?
I will after D&D.
I see.
Oh.
What?
Huh?
What's your Valentine's Day hat? I'm very curious.
I don't know yet. I haven't thought of one yet. I gotta look up silly Valentine's hats now. The phone is ringing.
I just realized when you mentioned that we can actually see the little little will o' the wisp
Yeah.
dots. from
Yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
which is
now we can
honestly
play,
kind of
like-
useful.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when you're like looking at something, you can be like, oh yeah, so I want to attack like this part of the monster. Like I want to shoot them here.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't even
like
have to
this,
use the
like,
ping. You can just
I like the smearing when you go really fast.
yeah, no, it's good motion blur. Good motion blur.
They put way too much effort into this. They could have just.
I
They
know,
put
right?
they clearly. I can tell you, just this dot alone, they probably put too much effort into.
This was like someone's magnum opus.
Yeah, they're just like, no. We're gonna have the most overthought D&D pinging system ever in a D&D map system. I mean, to be fair, I think it's like fucking Fantasy Grounds only added a pinging system like 6 months ago, and they've been
Oh
out
no!
for
The snake's eyes, they're
fucking
glowing.
decades.
On my screen, you're so far off.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting. Alrighty then. So, are we going to roll for it? Is anyone going to volunteer to begin our recap of what
No.
the fuck happened last time?
No.
Just no.
Let me get the quote the doodles up first so I can see if I can remember what the hell happened last time.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Oh no, I'm gonna get broken up with today. Ugh.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
My dad says I can't see you anymore.
But father, I love him.
You're a bad influence.
Oof.
I think we should roll for it. It's always good to see the least willing person having to do it.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, so
I'm
everybody go
really
ahead and roll a
fucked.
d20.
Are we avoiding highs or lows today?
Yeah, just keep it kosher, and we'll just you don't want to roll low. Standard roll off, if you will.
Well, I've got rid of my D20, my nat 20s for a day.
Oh.
Hopefully I don't need that later.
Oh my god!
I rolled a
why?
19.
Choco,
rolled
looks
that
like
last
you're
time.
looks like you're having a.
I haven't rolled yet. I haven't rolled yet. It's okay. I haven't rolled yet.
Nat 20!
Got 10.
Oh.
Good luck, Nova.
Oh.
Chase knows who doesn't want to go.
Choco's the only one in single digits.
Oh.
Literally.
I don't even remember what happened.
Look at your doodles.
They don't help.
Well, let's just all agree with this. Whatever gets described now is in fact canon for what happened last session.
Oh,
We love
Might
that.
as well
even worse.
Might as well. Probably better than what actually happened.
Yeah, man, resurrected.
Zephyr remembered what happened and was like, "Yeah, no, we can rewrite that."
Yeah, we can rewrite that real quick.
Well, shit.
Zephyr teleporting and then like just fucking cracking his head open.
Yeah.
I won't be honest, I
Okay.
didn't expect that.
I like how Zephyr not only fucked up our plans, but also the evil people's plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
complete
he's good.
inability to follow instructions really paying off here.
Zephyr can't even be used. Like, he can't, you're like, we'll manipulate. No, he's even bad at that.
Okay. Well, because Zephyr was left alone for hours, he figured out how to escape with the help of the spooky hag lady that was good that infiltrated. Yippee! She fucked up a bunch of the guards that were standing outside, and then she tried to manipulate Zephyr to go towards the rest of the party, but he instead teleported off of a cliff and fell and ate shit and died.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile,
Got this, fam.
Baba went to go look for a place to fix the kid and get the spooky hag out of her. And then Question got in trouble and was called to the principal's office, so Shul went along. Then Marak and me went to
We met
The-
with Drake Queen Malfoy. And
yeah. We met up with the detectives and then we spilled the beans. More
I
like
covered them in my beans.
the detective guy swirled his finger in my brain of beans. Yep. That's it. I think.
The fuck?
I like to
No
think
one
that,
has-
like from a bean image, it's like a video where a guy like fills his computer with beans, like big
I
beans.
Yeah.
love that.
Calls his technician over. It's like, is
I love
this
how
overboard?
excited. I love how excited the technician is. He's like, guys, I've never seen this before. He's like so excited that it's full of beans to tell the guy, hey, your PC's full of beans.
Oh shit! How'd those get there?
Yay. Yeah,
Oh,
Nova has contagious trauma, apparently. So
Mhm.
this detective is now broken.
That's kind of trauma.
That's it.
I've lost track.
That's
Who's
all I
the
remember.
detective in this?
The round
Yeah.
guy in the library that can read
Yeah,
people's minds and doesn't even ask permission.
Oh, okay.
The person who was like
Uh-huh.
detecting our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes,
Rude.
yes. Okay.
He was
yeah,
trying to
oh,
figure out
okay,
what
now I'm
happened,
following.
so we called him the detective.
Yes.
Call
okay.
him Dick.
That's fair.
Detective.
Dick for
Dick pie.
detective.
Detective, private eye, dick pie. At your service. I
Or Dick Eye.
think that's called a urethra.
Alrighty.
Or Private Dick.
Yippee.
I was looking through the doodles 'cause I was like, is there an image of him just like fucking doubled over? Like no, like no, there's 1,000 yards there. Fair enough. Alrighty. So yeah, no, I think you all pretty much hit on everything there. So yeah, last we left off, Baba, you were escorting the child towards a place of worship. And
Does it count as escorting someone if you're potato sack carrying them?
Potato sack carry.
I mean, yeah.
yeah,
technically.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I
Um,
wouldn't take Zephyr's word on what counts as
Yeah.
escorting and what counts as abducting, but
Rude.
100%.
sure.
escorting,
No, yeah.
carrying, fucking, um, yeah, carrying them,
Transporting.
escorting them, transporting them,
Transporter.
moving them along in the general direction of.
Bubba's more of a
Um,
courier right now than anything.
Relocating.
Yeah.
Sure.
These are all good. All good terms for this.
Excellent. Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to, just because it sort of came up in our conversation, um, I'm going to post in the references an image. This is all of the prime deities. These insignias are not their only insignias. There are different variations of these, but these are sort of examples of their icons or pendants or religious holy symbols that could be used by the prime deities of this realm. But just so you know, like there are different interpretations and different cultures in different parts of the world will use slightly different
I didn't know
iconography.
Thor was a deity in this game.
The All Hammer. What the fuck is an All Hammer?
He's an all hammer.
It's a hammer that can hammer
he's
anything.
the All-Hammer.
So a hammer.
Sees everything as a nail.
Something like that. Alrighty. Where did I put wasp books?
Moon ones are always my favorite. They're so pretty.
Yeah. Oh, and just so you know, the deities that you've sort of had the most overlap with so far are Sehanin the Moonweaver, which was the first worship site that you found where you found your locket. And then the second worship site in the depths of the Fair's Rise was Avandra the Changebringer. And you've also heard quite a bit of connection to Corellian the Art.
We definitely brought some change to that place.
Not horribly wrong. Alrighty. With
Can I get
that, I wanted to.
Can I get the All Hammer from Moradin? Oh, that sounds like a cool weapon. Can I just have it? Cool.
Just let me borrow this. Don't worry, I'll bring it back. He said, "No, full well knowing that he never would."
I just have one thing I want to hit with it. It's fine.
I feel like when you hit someone with it, the person that gets hit with it makes the cartoon the Yahoo noise when they get hurt. Like the howl.
It's a hammer that when you hit someone with it turns them into a hammer.
Just as you as it is a point of discussion, Moradin is the god of crafting and creation, forging, knowledge, and war.
Only hammers.
He's often associated with a lot of dwarven religious practices.
They should have also made him the god of alcohol, so that he's the all hammered.
Jesus. All right. So these are sort of the main prime gods. There are other beings of great power and influence, but these are the ones that are openly worshipped and generally accepted by society. All of them are either some form of good or neutral. None of them are outwardly evil or purely chaotic beings. Well, most of them. Gods of war and storms tend to be skirting the line there. But for the most part, they are generally good. So with that, I will say, we'll start a little bit with Baba, as he's walking this or carrying or transporting this not so well off at the moment child, who seems to be sleeping somewhat peacefully, just in a almost complete state of just exhausted unconsciousness, through sort of more of the backside of this the guided district here in Oncorel. You guys have not spent nearly this much time sort of going through the rest of the district here. You kind of tend to be in and out of the temple of the Cobalt Soul, or primary library here. And that is where you are initially introduced into this district by your friend Question. But outside of that, you haven't spent a lot of time exploring this district. And so as in the middle of the night here, as you walk through the district, Baba, you're going to see that while there are parts of this city that are a little rougher around the edges, especially on like sort of the outskirts of the market, for the most part, it is a very pristine and well maintained city. There's not a lot of vagabonds and criminals lurking around corners, and generally traversing it is quite safe. And while you don't see a lot of criminals lurking in the shadows of these streets, there do seem to be um, a um, a bit of an influx in the less well-off individuals in this part of the city, and it seems to be because um, while there are no while some of the great temples of note were brought out, such as one of the largest ones being the temple that the Cobalt Soul uses, um, and there are other places of significant worship here, you're starting to see that some of these buildings here are smaller centers for worship for other deities. They're not as immediately notable as in many other cities of the world, where the religious centers are almost like at the center of the city. These are all just sort of scattered throughout this district, and very few of them are even nearly as close as the Cobalt Souls Library in size. Um, and you're just sort of starting to notice them a little bit more as you kind of get deeper into the guided district here. And outside many of these places of worship are little collections of more impoverished individuals who seem to be waiting for or hoping for some form of aid from the churches. But for now, it is the middle of the night, and um, most of their belongings are tucked away, and you just kind of see a lot of the evidence of this sort of left behind. Um, and that said, as you encounter a bit more of this, there also seems to be, while there's always a firm presence of hands of Ord policing most parts of the city. And if you don't see them, they're often just on the next block over. There does seem to be a bit of an increase at this for night. Most parts of the city are relatively quiet at night, but there are still constant patrols. But in this part of the city, there does seem to be some more stationary um, watch, just keeping an eye on things. A few torchlight bearing patrols go by, just a little bit more than you've noticed in your escapades throughout the sort of main traversed areas of the city. Is there anything you would like to do, or are you still heading straight for the walls of the guided district, for the mausoleum that you were originally heading for?
Yeah, I figured Bob will keep doing that. He looks around and like around every corner he thinks he sees a meat sword stall, but then he looks again and it's like a mirage. It's actually just he kind of shakes his head like,
Yes.
no, focus, Baba. You got a job to do this time.
Yes, not nearly as many street food vendors in this area, but definitely quite a few more people on the street.
I mean, street food,
Yeah.
depending on your perspective, I guess.
Who knows, if a giant crocodile were to come here, there could be a lot of street food.
Exactly.
Yep, but that could never happen.
That would never
Not in
happen.
this, not in this
That's
first city.
silly.
Not in this first city. Yeah, truly ridiculous. But with that, you sort of make your way to the edge of the city here, and it takes you a moment to just sort of find your way along the wall to the point you're looking for, as you've never been here directly. But once you do, it starts to sort of come into shape. There is some the wall in this part of the city, because most of the city is sort of encompassed by a patrolled and guarded wall, protecting it from anything on the deserts outside that might want to come pressing their way into the city. But the wall in this portion of the city sort of becomes one with a tall cliff face. And there are parts of this wall here that um, are no longer sort of guard stationed towers and walls as much as just this cliff that sort of um, transforms into a mountain, of which the city kind of presses up against the base of here, almost like this plateau coming up in front. And um, with some of this sort of transition from wall to cliff here, you begin seeing um, signs of things carved into the cliff face. There are some walkways that are narrow, but they're just barely visible in the moonlight as they catch some of the light, sort of going up and down the cliffside. And along these walkways are various shapes and carvings. Some of them appear to be archways or entrances into the cliff itself, and denoting some form of almost crypt that has been attached to and dug into the side of this cliff face along the edge of the city here. Um, as you follow around this um, uh, sort of structure, you will eventually, at almost the center point of this area, a uh, change in the stone of the cliff begins to take place. It is instead of this kind of red beige sand and lime that has been here. The stone changes to a stark black, onyx black obsidian, and in this sort of localized place, and almost an arch-like shape, with a spire, a quite pointed obsidian outcropping from the cliff face here, with a almost crystal-like appearing door. It's not horribly large. It's not, a 100-foot spire, but probably a good 30 feet at the highest point, and the door maybe 10 feet high, marking this what appears to be an entrance to some form of temple.
Well, all right then. Is it an open entrance or a closed entrance to a temple?
To me, um, there appears to be there is a door here. There's no indication of whether it is closed or locked to the outside. And there is a staircase made of the same black onyx, or sorry, the same black obsidian, that the walls or the sort of shape of this building that is placed in the wall here is made of. But after the short staircase, there's no signs of people on the outside. There is no indication whether or not the building is open or closed at the current moment. Um, the glass that you can kind of just make out through the moonlight here does appear to be opaque, um, and appears oddly um, oddly clean. Like most of the cliff faces here are just kind of covered in sometimes a fine layer, sometimes a thicker layer of reddish sand and dust and debris from the cliffside here. But the reflective obsidian building in front of you appears to be almost pristine and clean of all debris.
Well, Baba will assume that the church is open at all times of the day, night, and
All right.
make his way inside.
Alrighty. And with that, you head in. Um, So, stepping up the stairs, the door very much pushes open without too much effort from you, and it is a massive sort of what appears to be piece of like opaque glass. They parts the double doors part, um, and you enter the um, obsidian cathedral in front of you. As you uh, as you get closer here, you will see one of the things that almost immediately catches your eye on the inside is a um, sort of standing out a bit from the um, uh, black interior that you will find yourself in is a um, depiction of a uh, it's across the wall that is sort of you open the door and you're sort of in a hallway that begins to branch into two separate directions, and directly in front of you, maybe 20 feet away, is a large quite large depiction of a keen-eyed vulture, and there's plumage on it, varying from shades of sunset and oranges and reds and yellows and almost pinks, all the way down to the blackest of midnight. It appears that the vault, like almost uh this almost like human-esque vulture silhouette, like somewhere in between. It's like a vulture's plumage and figure that sort of comes together into a vaguely humanoid silhouette, and upon its face is a golden funerary mask that contrasts greatly with the black obsidian behind. Um, as you enter, um, the door will just sort of naturally close behind you.
As doors do.
No suddenness. Yeah, yeah, no suddenness to it. Just slowly will close with the weight of it. And as you sort of just look back briefly, from this side, the glass appears transparent, and you can more easily see the city outside.
One-way mirrors.
Um,
Neat.
There is no immediate evidence of an individual in here, but after a moment of taking in this depiction, this the sculpture sort of set into the wall ahead of you, you do begin to hear soft footsteps coming down one of the two hallways branching off to the left and right.
I guess Baba will make his way towards the footsteps.
Right. A moment later, you see an individual in uh, dark, dark robes, very just barely visible, sort of golden stringing, making some sort of almost feather-like design in parts of their wardrobe, and their their head is mostly covered, but face exposed. If they were to wear a mask, they would be entirely covered in these dark robes. And as you approach, you sort of they see them come into view, arms crossed in their the robes in front of them, and they just vaguely feminine in appearance, just sort of call out to you. Is there something we can help you with?
Well, howdy, good evening to you, ma'am. It's an awfully nice temple you got here, but a bit monochromatic for my taste. But to each their own, I guess. Well, you see, and you will kind of like take fuck, what's her name? Kara? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Off of his like shoulder, I guess, if closest thing that a turtle has to a shoulder. Like, yeah, I got me a cursed little one here, and I was wondering if you got any of them curse breakers around here.
I see. The child has some form of affliction.
Oh, I reckon that's the
And
case. Yes, some Haggerty
uh,
bullshit, as they say.
I see. And they sort of hold their arms out, not as much to take them from you, but just sort of their hands emerge from their cloak, and they just sort of reach out over the child, and you see them. If you don't mind, if I take a look.
All you want. I will kind of hold her out.
Um, and you say, Curse, are you sure that this is not just an illness?
Well, I did try to remove a curse myself, and I reckon I got pretty close, but it fought back. Um, so
I see.
no, not an illness, I guess, unless you guys got some weird illnesses here.
And after a moment, their eyes close, and there is just um, less of a emanating of light, and more of just the golden stringing on their robes almost like shifts and moves slightly, as if the feathers themselves are beginning to shift and waver, and it kind of goes down them in a wave, and they open their eyes after a good moment. Just, yes, it does appear that this child has touched shadow. What happens to them, if you don't mind?
Well, you see, we found her in the forest, and I think a shadow hag was eating on her or something, and she didn't take it too well to when we broke in the door, or I guess came over to break in the door, or something like that. I think somebody may have been talking some shit as well, but um, and then she started screaming and screaming and screaming, and then we knocked out, and then yeah, now we're here. So I cursed by a shadow hag, I guess. Also, her dad makes porridge, so a bit of a rough life.
I see. Let us. Why don't you follow me, and we'll see if there's anything we can do for this child of Ankara.
Alrighty.
Uh, and they will turn back towards the direction they came, and just begin walking a bit further into the temple here.
Alrighty.
The hallway that you're in is you're not particularly deep into this temple yet, but the hallway that you're in is made of the same black obsidian material, and you do see that there are just these sort of golden veins running through bits of the wall, almost appearing as like cracks in the obsidian that have been filled with gold, kind of following these naturally flowing veins. And as you come a bit further, there is a branch, again, once more. Except this branch is you kind of took like a Y-shaped split from the original room, and this branch leading another Y-shaped split, as the person in front of you takes a left-hand turn. To your right, you will see a staircase ascending further up, somewhere underground, and just kind of barely noticing it out of your periphery. There does seem to be a large, like dark wooden door, maybe 20 feet high, at the top of the staircase. That's probably a good 50 steps or so. And you
Is
can
there like
just
any
see a
illumination in
large.
this place?
It is entirely just sort of um, dimly lit. There doesn't appear to be many sources of light uh, from your note, but it's almost just like the walls are just kind of slightly illuminating. So the whole building here is dimly lit mechanically, but the light source doesn't seem identifiable to you.
Y'all don't get headaches in here? So you're gonna be squinting in all of this darkness all the time. I know a guy that makes torches if you want.
You hear just a slight chuckle from the individual that you are following, and that is all right. We always live in the dust.
Well, all right, I suppose.
But you kind of just able to sort of make out in this dim light this large door with a large, almost appearing rusted iron door knocker on it. But other than that, the hallways are quite similar. And so as you make the second turn, you are brought into a different chamber. The hallway just kind of comes to a arched doorway, quite a steep, almost like a church steeple-esque doorway shape, as opposed to more rounded arch. And as you enter it, there appears to be a couple other priests in here, priests and priestesses that are tending to a few individuals who appear to have come here for worship. They are just kind of going through various rituals. There is incense burning and some rites that are being said. It's all quite quiet. And as you enter, the individual who's been escorting you will just softly sort of raise their hands, and the rest of the members in very similar garb, but not quite as ornate. The stringing of gold on their robes is more or less intricate, I should say. The feathering pattern isn't as strong and as significant throughout. It is more just sort of a brief brief depiction of gold stringing along some of the arms and shoulders. And with that, they sort of all sort of stop what they're doing and come to center. And the individual who brought you in will sort of gesture for you to come join them in their circle that they are kind of made. There's a spot open for you and the girl.
Y'all are organized. All right. Kind of like awkwardly walks in, so he's not really used to a more formal kind of worship. Like Evandris is like a rock by the side of a road. There's a temple right there.
Yeah. And so as you sort of awkwardly find your way into this formal circle,
and like ladles on his shell, just like clanging.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
The brightest pop of color this temple has probably seen in some time.
Garishly covered in colored tortoise.
But as you enter in there, you see that the some of the individuals here are a little bit more eclectic in their grouping. These as you kind of being familiar with while not necessarily firsthand experience with other many other religious practices, it's not hard to put together that these are more these are less experienced followers of this religion. They are not yes, if you will. The individual who greeted you at the door clearly has some amount of station here, and it is very apparent by their dress, if nothing else, because there are three other individuals that have now sort of joined this huddle are their hands and arms are a bit more exposed in garb, as if they've been they're doing more labor. Their sleeves aren't as long, and their head coverings stop at the neck. And so they have more exposed head. And with that, you do actually see a bit of an interest in at least one of them. Stands you out because their complexion at first almost reminds you of Maroc, in terms of the hairy nature of them. But as you kind of get in a little bit closer here, they don't seem to be bugbear in nature. They're almost just appear to be maybe orcish, but have just sort of this strong proclivity to hair as it's kind of growing over them and over their neck, and their ears are slightly pointed as many orcs do, but sort of almost hidden behind a mat of bugbear-like hair in some places, but not quite as covered. Maroc is fully hair. This individual is almost like somewhere between a Maroc and a human,
He's
if
a
you will.
bugbear.
Bugbear. And but what also catches is that their eyes are almost red, um, just but not like a bright, striking red, like a crimson, very sort of deeper maroon, almost blood red, if you and the other individuals appear less striking in appearance. One of them appears to be probably half human, but I'm not exactly sure placing the other half. And the other one is probably part elvish, but bit hard to identify. And with that, this little circle is brought together, and the we'll call it the head priest here begins to address the rest of the individuals. All right, so we have a child of Oncarel here that has undergone some contact with the shadow, and is hanging on quite dearly. So, I will put this to you all and see if you can come up with the best solution for our child here. They'll turn to you. Any more information? And for our child here, do you have? And is there a name that you would like us to call you by? They're addressing you, Baba.
Well, my name's Baba Kui, but people just call me Baba or Baby sometimes if they can't speak too good. And what kind of information you're looking for? I mean, so kind of presumably using similar kinds of magic, like kind of a tapping into their gods. Is there kind of any information that Baba can convey from his attempts at trying to remove his curse that would be pertinent to the situation, besides where it came from?
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of experience with dealing with his other cursed friend, which is safe and sound at a different temple, of in good hands, so to speak.
So I guess I'll just ask you, and you can summarize. I imagine that you're giving them all the details that you found out about this girl and kind of your experience with trying to remove this curse and what you saw and felt. But when you go to talk about your second, are you talking about your second cursed friend and the other experience that you've had trying to remove curses, or are you mostly talking about this girl?
But we'll touch on the kind of points of comparison between
Okay.
the last time he tried to remove a curse from someone.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go into detail about the crocodile man.
Yeah. So that was just
man, I guess.
checking. Because that's a whole other can of worms. So I wasn't sure how much information you were giving them on that specific can of worms.
No, he can remove his curse. He's a consenting adult.
Okay.
We think.
Maybe.
I tell him sometimes.
You have an ass. Yeah. So you begin to sort of relay this information, and the leader of this group here will just sort of nod along, and they all seem to be paying quite astute attention. And after which they will sort of look towards that one sort of red-eyed, hairy individual, and just now this work with curses seems to be deep and quite complex, not your average affliction, something gone a bit more awry. In your studies, have you encountered things like this? And that more standoutish individual will just, well, there's been numerous sort of forms. Many have come from forms of magic and other from blood, but I have only seen something like this once before. It is the work of beings from the lesser plane. And at which point I'll just sort of ponder for a moment, and that's what I was afraid of. This could take some work to undo. And if it is a hag, as you said, is that correct to your knowledge?
She sure looked like one.
And had they seemingly wanted anything in return, as normally hags don't give without taking. And you
What?
have taken this child from.
Well, I reckon she gave a curse in return, but I think she wanted to meet with our other friend, not the one that's not the one that I tried to remove a curse from, but the other probably cursed one that may have cursed her as a child, and she wanted to have a one-on-one, but we weren't super down with that, so I guess that's why she gave us curse. I have a lot of cursed friends.
Yes,
Don't read into that too
I'm
much.
beginning to pick up on that. Quite a work cut out for you.
Oh, I don't worry about those two. They can take care of themselves, I reckon. Well, I mean, one of them can. I'm not so sure about.
The individual that was asked their experience about these curses sort of looks towards you, and you see him kind of trying to read into you a little bit as you're talking a little bit more about your cursed friends, and after a moment, sort of goes back the way he was looking, which is just towards his superior here. Just, I would say that it is concerning the number of curses that orbit around our Baba here, especially when, if more than one originate from this same hag. It seems they are working their way around the weave of this troop.
Well, I reckon that's on account of my somewhat ominous beginnings, but not cursed beginnings. But it's funny that you bring up weave, because but we'll kind of pull out the needle. I reckon I met another hag. I don't know. She looked like a hag, but she didn't quack like a hag, if you will. And she gave me this, and apparently I'm supposed to stab someone of it because they're not on the weave no more or something. I don't know what that's all about. So, and they were like on the same place, superposition, I think it's called. I'm not really up to scratch on my quantum physics yet. But you know what? You're picking up what I'm putting down, right?
As you produce this needle, the high priest here sort of visibly straightens up a little, or less straightens up and more just sort of there's a reaction. They're a little bit more at attention, their eyes a bit wider, and
If we can see them.
yeah, a face a little bit paler. They just kind of, oh, that is I would ask that you place that back away, for that is not welcome in the Dusk Maven's home. But this is deeply concerning. Was this far away where you encountered this individual?
Sorry, say are we asking if it was far away where the encounter happened?
If it was far away where you received this needle.
Oh, well, no, it's about a hop, skip, and a jump down the road. It's in the River District, I think you guys call it. It's where the old Melora Temple was. A bit of a shack, bit of a rundown shack now, but didn't get around to burning it yet.
It appears that fate is being tampered with beings who it is not their belonging to.
Oh, that tends to be fate for you.
Well, I think you did right by coming to us with this.
Well, that'll be a first for me.
All right. Well, we will commune with the Dusk Maven, and it is likely that they will weigh in on it, as it is become quite problematic, and the fact that it was not seen before now is also concerning. They look towards the child. This child is going to undergo much duress. I take it that while they are under your care, we believe that it is best for her to come before the Dusk Maven, and it is possible that they will be able to, if not cure the child's affliction, gain a better sense of it and why it is their fate is being tampered with. Because I do not get the idea that this is what they were destined for.
Well, all right then. Should I go like get her dad or something, or do I just stay here? What's the next steps? This is a bit of a first for me.
If you would like to contact the next of kin, you are free to. Otherwise, we can send word. As you have brought them here under your protection, and as a respected individual of the Changebringer, you would be welcome to await. But I could say that it might be a day or 2 or 3 before we have an answer, but the child will be well cared for, so that is up to your discretion. This communal process can be difficult for ones of this age, but they will be cared for.
All right, I reckon I'll go get her pappy, bring him over here. You guys got like a receipt or something that I can have, like so I dropped off the kid. No, okay.
They just sort of give you a curious look, and are you confused of them? Are you worried they'll be mistaken for other children here?
Well, I mean, sometimes not saying it's ever intentional, but sometimes you drop things off somewhere and then you come back, and it's gone lost somewhere, and then you talk to somebody else we didn't drop it off with, and they're like, "Well, we don't remember this being dropped off." And I just reckon I should probably not lose a kid. That ain't even mine. But you all seem like you've got your head screwed on right. I'll take it. I'll take a chance on this one. And he'll kind of like awkwardly shuffle out of her room, having made a fool of himself yet once again. Pots and pans clanking.
As you make your way out, you hear sort of just slightly whispered exchange of words between the head priest here of the Dusk Maven and individual with some expertise on curses. And a moment later, you hear footsteps a bit quicker than most of the individuals moving, catching up behind you. If you
Oh,
wouldn't
silly
mind,
me!
I
I
would
should
like.
probably give you a child. If I swear, if I didn't have my head screwed on,
um,
give him a kid, but he was absentmindedly carrying off of him.
The other two individuals will catch up behind you and take the child. Don't worry, they will be safe here and taken care of under the Dusk Mavens. But right behind them, the more furry individual, if you will,
Furry.
yes, will
I just
if you
imagine
don't
Baba
mind.
just like turns around and goes, "Oh, furry!"
So like that scene from Austin Powers goes, mole.
Mole, 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 mole.
Yes,
Mole.
exactly. The individual begins to sort of walk with you towards the door again once you hand over the child. If you don't mind, I'd like a word with you as we leave the temple.
Oh, certainly. I rarely get to speak to another person off a cloth. Mostly rogues and ne'er-do-wells these days.
As you sort of get a closer look at them before heading out towards the temple, what catches your eye is the brief reflection of a pendant just kind of visible amongst the folds of cloths. There is a sort of similar depiction of this golden funerary mask, but simplified and sort of into a pendant shape, but almost as in extension of it, around this golden funerary mask is a what appears to be a teardrop shape red, almost ruby, forming almost a drop of blood.
Weird question. Would Baba recognize this as belonging to the fucking Vermilion Dream or something?
Go ahead and roll a religion check for
Ah, yes, the ones that are Baba is so
your
good
favorite.
at. Yes. I mean, at least I've got a. Where's my religion, anyways? Oh yeah, I've got a +1 in it now. Yay! Oh, but a nat 1 will not make it any better.
You don't you don't believe there's any correlation to the Vermilion Dream from what you've seen. It appears to almost be that an overlapping of two symbols, one being almost a drop of blood, or at least that's what it appears to. It's no other red fluid that you can think of. That teardrop shape seems appropriate. But it seems like there is some sort of duality happening here between a clear reference to the Dusk Maven in the face, but then this sort of overlaid over this background element of this drop of crystal blood. It doesn't seem familiar to the Vermilion Dream and any of their iconography you've seen. While they are a bit zealotry, you haven't seen any religious symbols or anything of theirs that is anything like this. But that said, you also haven't seen any religious symbols involving drops of blood or similar iconography to your knowledge.
Okay, so the funerary mask, that's like the Raven Queen's thing, right? You're saying Dusk Maven or Maiden?
So I would say, like, having traveled quite a bit of the world at this point, there is in Ank'Harel here, and you've encountered this with a few deities at this point. The locals have different names for a lot of these deities. Their style of life living in this desert is very different. But seeing this temple, it is definitely a temple worshiping the same deity of the Raven Queen. However, the iconography is a bit different. It's the same a lot of the same happenings, a lot of this like similar iconography, the black and the gold, the funerary masks, the winged birds, except the bird here is a vulture instead of that same raven that is common in most parts of the world. And so it appears here that the Dusk Maven
It's a
is
maven.
I will double check because now I'm questioning.
It's a build automation tool for Java projects.
Oh, yeah,
Or
there you go.
or also a wrestler.
Oh, there you go. A person who has special knowledge or experience, apparently.
Fair enough.
An expert. Um, yeah. But they appear to refer to this deity as the Dusk Maven. And it's one of those things where it's like having seen worship of the Raven Queen elsewhere in the world. This is like it's clearly like a strong parallel, and they are in fact worshiping the same deity. They just call them a different name and have slightly different ways of going through their worship. But I'd say as a worshiper of Avandra, this isn't necessarily surprising to you, but there does seem to be a correlation now that you're really picking up on between being on the other side of the world here in Marquette, and which is significantly disconnected compared to much of the rest of the world, and their worship of deities being a bit more their own. But with that, but yes, it's the funerary mask is very similar. It's just instead of in most of the world, it is kind of like a porcelain and onyx, or porcelain um uh and like black feathered or obsidian or something like that. The one that adorns this individual who is walking with you appears to be more of a golden mask, but then with his own unique, and this is not something that you saw anywhere else in the temple, at least immediately in the limited span you've been here, this sort of ruby red blood drop that is set behind it. But
I will say
with
that Baba has
that,
always found like the worship of Raven Queen to be kind of like overly edgy and dramatic. So, but also it makes him deeply uneasy. So he just refers to the Raven Queen in his mind as that corpuscular bitch. Never say it out loud. It's just in poor taste.
yes, no, of course.
Only when he's very sleep deprived or drunk.
Fair enough. And so as you begin walking, this individual will just I hope you don't mind, but I have a couple of questions for you, as your cases have piqued my interest.
This is a furry that's talking to me.
Yes.
Right,
The red-eyed ruby drop pendanted furry. Yeah.
Gotcha, thank you. How large is his head?
How large is his head?
Yeah, is it like a weirdly outsized dog head?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check, because he is still wearing quite a bit of robage, but it's not quite as covering
No,
as the.
I am just making a joke about furry suits, so don't actually worry about
that. His features are a bit different, but no, his head is not a giant bobblehead in comparison to the rest. But his features are definitely like hard to pin. A lot of people in this city have mixed ancestrage, often between some, like you've encountered next to no pure-blooded elves or full-blooded elves in this city, but many half partial 8th, 16th, 74th elves, orcs, humans as well, quite a bit of, and the lesser or sort of less common races, quite a few and far between. But this individual definitely stands out, as you've never quite seen someone like them. The closest that you'd have is bugbears like Maroc, but it's still it's different. And it's also, as you sort of spending a little more time with them and walking more side by side, their features do appear to be a bit more exaggerated on their face. Their nose, their nose and their cheekbones a little bit more forward and angled. And as you're walking, you just I've had some experience in the past with the removal and dealings with curses, and I am curious if these other cases have been resolved or not, or if this is something that you will also be seeking help with in the future. You don't mind me asking.
Well, my reptilian friend, he got a couple of different curses on him, as far as I can tell. That what a mess, I'll tell you. Um, I think he's crocodiling out right now as we speak. So that's about as far from resolved as the curse gets, I reckon. Not sure if what his deal is, whether he even wants it to be gone.
As you sort of say that, their gait sort of pauses for a moment before catching up with you again. When you say that they are crocodiling out at this moment, do you mean that the curses of a lunar nature, as it is the full moon?
Oh, well, it does seem to be somewhat corollary to the cycles of the moon. So I reckon I'd wager yes. I think we got another well, I don't think this one's cursed, but he reckons that it's lycanthropy. But then again, he thinks everything's lycanthropy, so 50-50 on that one.
As you before you even get to that sort of second half of that statement about lycanthropy, but as you sort of started that, this individual sort of just you pick up on it, and it's almost like you don't hear it, but almost like you feel it in your diaphragm, that they're letting out just this slight rumbling, almost growl, and they just, you see that they're their lips sort of curl in frustration, and their eyes look more peeringly towards the door, and they just, if you don't mind, I think it might be best if I accompany you. I'm worried about the presence of this crocodiling out friend of yours in our city. I think I
Friend,
might
I
be
tell
of
you
some
what,
help.
we all are. Trust me.
Big surprise. The big hairy man's a bit touchy about lycanthropy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can. I reckon I can introduce it to Zephyr, if you want.
If we can find him.
Well,
Well,
Bubba doesn't know
Baba
he's
doesn't.
gone yet,
Yeah,
so.
Baba doesn't know that he's missing.
Yeah.
We can bring this guy back to the Cobalt Sol. It's gonna make just everything more chaotic. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be like 4 factions looking for this asshole.
Shoot to kill, shoot on sight kind of order on him and stuff.
Make some
As
good
you
boots out of
at
him.
this point, oh my God. Yes, I'm gonna crack it out, skin boots.
He makes some crocodile skin boots,
as
and like it becomes daytime again, and then like, it just turns into like
Human
flesh.
oh God, that's horrible. But with that, you at this point you've made it to the sort of transparent doors, and he will push them open for you. All right, well, and he looking up at the moon. You see just a slight grimace or twitch as you enter the night.
Does he look like he's repressing the urge to howl?
You're not there, but I'm sure you'll get an opportunity.
I'm asking for the audience.
He looks it looked more like pain than animalistic urge. But yes, you see him react a little bit as you enter the outside. But it just, if you don't mind, I would like to hurry. I'm worried about the timing.
I reckon we can. We just need to make one stop. Well, maybe I can stop when we go there first, and I'll stop at Kara's dad on the way back. It seems to be a touchy subject for your friend. Care to share a penny for your thoughts, or whatever? Electrum for your thoughts.
Oh.
That's from
Nope.
God. Why would anyone want that? But as you sort of bring this up, as you start moving more quickly, I'm sure that we'll have much time to discuss this, but let's just say that I've dealt with individuals like this before, and I am concerned about what is most likely to happen next if they're not taken care of.
Last time I saw him, he was chained up with silver manacles inside a strong room. Inside the what is it? The Cobalt Soul? Cobalt Soul, right?
The Blue Librarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
In the basement of a Cobalt Soul.
as you say that, they sort of turn back towards you, looking a bit curiously, and as they do, remind me what you said they look like again. And you see them sort of looking past you.
When they're crocodiling out, or when they're not crocodiling out?
When they're losing it.
Oh yeah, they're just like a how tall is he? Like 8 feet tall?
So, when hunched over, yeah. Probably a bit taller if he stood upright, but you've never seen that.
He's about yay tall, and Baba can reaches as high as he can.
Yeah.
When he's stooping to bite your head off and stuff, kind of like bipedal. He got them scales. He got the alligator mouth. About as rude as always, though. Not much of a personality change, if I'm being honest. And his clothes don't fit him no more. Let's put it that way. So kind of wears his heart and everything else on his sleeve.
But cloaked in shadow and darkness?
Was he cloaked in shadow and darkness?
Nope.
I'm just waiting for it to be like right
no,
behind him. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Well, not the last time that I saw, but he did puke out a lot of. Looked like shadows the last time we tried this. I mean, he had some soup from a funny lady that may have been a hag as well. Now that I'm thinking about it,
the individual sort of reaches out towards you slowly. You're going to need to trust me for a moment.
Okay.
He's looking past you over your shoulder.
Oh, good. That always ends well for Bubba.
And you see this individual, their eyes glow a different shade of red for a moment. You swear you almost see a drop of blood begin to sort of spill out of one of their eyes. And both of you disappear from your own sight as you have become invisible.
Oh, okay.
The voice continues for a moment. Could you identify that? And he points, he points you as his arm was on your shoulder, in that direction you were facing.
Invisibly pointing.
Yeah, invisibly points. But I was like, I pictured it one of. I pictured it as one of those, like, he has his arm around you and he's like, can you identify that? And it's right, but you have to explain that because you're invisible. Yeah. But you feel your body sort of turned around. And you see from a sort of damaged portion of the wall where it becomes the cliff, shadows sort of creeping out over, almost clawing over the edge. And within this sort of mask of shadow and darkness, almost billowing out, you see glowing pair of red and yellow eyes. They sort of look towards you and then past you, and then continue on looking for something. And the shadows begin, in a very similar fashion to things that you have seen all over today, begin pulling their way forward. But at the center of it, a mass a large creature with snout and tail of scale. So, is that in any way familiar to you? Because I don't remember leaving that in my mausoleum.
Like, and Bo's gonna look at like that shadowy son of a bitch. I knew he was up to nothing good. Yeah, I reckon that's my cursed compatriot with a little bit of additional shadow bullshit going on there. That's new. I can't believe we let him out. We told him to keep him in there.
All right. Well,
Silly goose.
you go get your compatriots, as you said they are at the Cobalt Soul.
Well, I mean, if he's out, they might just be dead for all that I know.
Well, you go check, and I'm going to make sure that this
gave up so quickly.
aberration.
He was like, they're probably dead, dude. I'll just go with you, dog.
they might be dead.
But he's just, you go get your companions or make sure that they're not dead. Whichever happens. And I am going to shadow this aberration and make sure it does not tear down.
And how will I find you again once I fetched him?
Most likely the sounds of screaming.
All right, I can do that. And with that, Baba's gonna just fucking take off.
Yep, fair enough. As this creature seems to be pulling itself into the city over this wall. It is a bit sluggish, but seems to be looking for something. And you begin booking it. With that, the rest of you, let's see, Nova and Marak, you guys had finished up downstairs and were heading up to find Shul, right?
Mhm.
Want to double check that? Okay. And then Shul, you were with Question and the High Curator. Alrighty. So, transitioning over to that. And I believe you'd asked me about this last time, but you're clear on who's in the bed and who is you're talking to and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, the guards are the ones in the bed, and then the High Curator is like talking to one of the like nurses and stuff.
Yeah.
It sounded like we were like approaching like a really like different scene. We were like, yeah, so you and Question, you remember which one's in the bed, right?
Damn!
Was the cigarette lit or not?
Oh, the gods are in the bed too? Damn!
All right. There's just a little confusion about
what's the
who
curator
was in the
doing
hospital.
Yeah, I thought the High Curator got hurt.
But yes. So finishes the High Curator finishes their conversation with the priests, nurses, if you will, that are tending to these two injured individuals. One of them is conscious and appears to be rather well. It looks like they're just running some checks on them to make sure there isn't anything more wrong with them below the surface. But the other individual is still unconscious and is quite beaten, bruised, and bandaged. Even though they're mostly covered, you can see that their face is swollen and their neck especially. You can see quite a bit of bruising peeking out through bandages. But the High Curator sort of turns towards Question, who is waiting patiently beside him for him to finish his conversation, and sees you as well. And you can see what is normally a bit of a this individual is normally, and most of the times in your presence, had a bit more of a chipper, but you can tell a very serious undertone. But always tries to smile and cordial and make light of things when they can. They are not younger than all the staff here, but they are young, especially for the position that they hold here. Probably not too much older than some of the older members of your group. And you can see this grimness and seriousness to them as they turn towards you that catches you off guard a little bit. But given the surroundings, you see they acknowledge you with a bit of a bow of their head, and you can see they try to put on a bit of a smile, but it's very much masking a deep contemplative and concerned atmosphere to their body language. They turn towards question. I think it's best that we have this conversation elsewhere and let these individuals rest. And question just kind of barely even responds, just kind of bows her head and waits for his lead. And he begins leading you back down the hallway you came through, and he'll get to the staircase. You don't mind me. I need to grab one piece of information. If you'll meet me at my office, I'll be there in just a moment. And he gestures for you to ascend the stairs.
Okay. All right. I was
something?
like pale behind my legs. I'm just walking with question.
Wait, orcs have tails?
No, it's a
Metaphorically.
metaphor. I was gonna say
Okay,
euphemism, but that's not the word.
Yeah, double entendre.
Yeah, slightly different. But you begin heading up to his office, and you see him kind of quickly dart to the side and pull aside one of the archivists and exchange words with him before you kind of disappear onto the higher stairs. As you get up past the first flight of stairs, question will just sort of whisper back over her shoulder towards you. Well, I think they're alive, but they looked quite rough. Do you think that was Zephyr?
Yeah, I mean, considering that like he's gone at the same time that people got hurt, it's kind of like there's too likely that it was probably him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But just wouldn't one thing that confused me, DM, would I don't know if I would put this together, but if Zephyr turned into a crocodile when he was at the Cobalt Soul, would he not have left even more carnage? So is it not confusing that there was so little casualties almost?
Survivors, even?
Yeah.
Go ahead and you haven't personally, you saw the survivors, or at least the ones that escaped injury, and question will just you'll pick this up from question as she's kind of nervously kind of babbling about it, just like that kind of like, I was the one who asked them to be there. They were doing a favor for me, and now one of them is almost dead. And she's kind of like going through this like under her breath, but just loud enough to where you can hear it and make out most of it. And so you'll kind of pick up that bits and pieces of this. I'd say go ahead and roll. You're not like investigating the crime scene, so just roll an insight check for me.
Okay.
On how you think Zephyr is going to behave based on your observations of him, and we'll just see how much you are able to pull. What did you get?
Rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8. That's okay. I'd say that from the information that you already have about Zephyr, and your albeit limited experience with his issues, it does seem a bit off. You weren't in a circumstance before where he had a full city to ravage, but when you were confronting his alter self, it did seem to be a bit more bloodlusty, a bit more untamed madness and savagery. Not too dissimilar.
Like he almost
from...
killed Nova, so I feel like, you know, 1 Nova equals like probably 5 normal people. You know? So
yeah, it does. It does seem like there's a bit of a disparity between what you might have expected if he crocked out, if you will, and you know, absolutely went to town on these guards. You will also notice, just from the time you spent in there, they didn't appear like bloodied and bite marked and clawed.
Right, like they
and,
don't look
like
like
their
they
injuries
were...
didn't appear animal inflicted by any means.
Yeah, like what happened with Nova and us.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest standout to you, and you're sort of putting this together, is they really didn't look like they were by a wild animal, which is essentially like you guys, when you had subdued him, you looked like you had just been attacked by a massive fucking crocodile. You had bite marks and claw marks and all sorts of wounds about you, even if they were surface level. There was clear evidence of it. Your garments were damaged. Your armor like had puncture wounds in parts of it that had to be repaired. Like it was an ordeal. Whereas these people appeared almost just beaten and battered badly, but it didn't seem evidence of that sort of animalistic savagery that you would have expected from your previous experience. So like it is like some of the stuff definitely isn't lining up exactly to you.
Okay, then as questions like I'm like I'll give her accent again. Sorry, Buffy. I'm just like question. You know, something that's not adding up to me the more I think about it. I know you weren't there with us, but you can I guess presume, you know how when a wild animal goes feral, it scratches people, it bites people, it leaves marks, right? But did you notice how the people in the cots, they just looked like they got in a fight?
As you're sort of getting to the last flight of stairs here, up to the 3rd level, you just hear they just kind of pause for a minute on one of the last steps. Oh, you're right, aren't you? And you're saying that that is what you would have expected if it was Zephyr?
Yeah, Nova got really fucked up when that happened, and you know, like it looked like we were attacked by a bear, where this time it just looks like they got in a brawl. So while I understand that you're blaming yourself for the situation, it seems like there's something else that would have maybe influenced
Has Zephyr ever, to your knowledge, caused any harm to individuals that would lead them with blood pouring from their ears and eyes?
We have had him speak.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
Well, he covers your ears. Have you seen him? That'll cover your eyes.
Damn, guys.
Took off his mask and talk to him.
Oh.
No, he's a good guy.
He saved all the zingers for when he was here.
He's a good guy. He's just, you know, feral oozing shadow in a church right now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
It was really funny, you know, after the events of last week, when I was like, okay, where did he end up? And then I looked at the map, and then I was like, oh, look, it's the mausoleum Bob is going to. That's the closest point in the wall to the Cobalt Soul.
It's just almost like somebody wrote this campaign. We're following a script here.
What are you talking about?
I was like, oh, how perfect of them to accidentally go to the same place.
You guys got a script that would make this so much easier.
Didn't have character progression.
Man.
We even have a romance B plot.
We would have leveled up so much faster if we knew where the level ups were.
Shush.
All
I'm
of it
not
is a
just
love
saying-
triangle now.
We'd have had different priorities. That's what I mean.
Yeah. DM, can we get like a love triangle with a question? Like, you know, maybe.
Oh, yeah, no,
maybe-
absolutely.
Competition.
No,
Maybe-
no,
maybe-
no, no.
Maybe the guard captain from Balzazon can show up here.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
exactly.
interested in the guard captain from Bazozan.
Don't worry. That filler episode
mean
is
Skies?
scheduled for after this
Yeah.
story arc when we run out of ideas. We have to fill it in with
Missed
Sky
something,
Guy?
so-
Yeah.
Maybe question will be interested in Thigh Guy.
Hi, guy.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Bro probably had like a 4-foot vertical leap.
What the fuck?
Ew.
What a marker.
It's not that hard.
Okay, Ryan.
Guy.
Okay, Ryan.
Let's just use your leg, you bastard.
Elaine, get out a tape measure.
We're doing it right
Oh,
here
I
now.
can't anymore.
How
I
can
can't
Ryan leap?
anymore. I'm trying to remember. I think that was like a 3.5-foot box. But I was also, 6 inches shorter.
Okay,
So,
I
give
get
or
you right
take.
there.
But with that, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll introduce that as soon as we reach a low.
No,
But returning back to
I'm working so hard.
returning back to the question at hand, did you have a response for a question as far as
Yeah, so I
making,
was with my time with Zephyr. He hasn't he has his sword and stuff and magic, but he doesn't do that.
yeah, I don't know if you picked up on it, but I could see that they had been their wounds had been cleansed and cleaned, but I could see just both of them, especially unfortunately Mikhail, his ears were still sort of remnants of blood leaking out them and hadn't been fully washed yet. Both of them had a little bit of extra crust on their eyes that was red. I'm worried that it's if you don't think it was Zephyr that did that, then what did?
Well, with our track of things, it definitely could have been more hags, It's fucking-
Must have been the wind.
I mean, with our it must have been the wind. I don't know. Worst case scenario, it could be. What the fuck is the other? We get the other god's name that's is close to Zephyr. Snake god that he was fucking around with.
Do you remember?
It was like Zahir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sahir.
Yeah, it was.
Sahir.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
so worst
You know
case
how I
scenario.
remembered that? I was like, oh yeah, that guy from Avatar.
God
Oh,
damn
what
it.
the fuck?
Oh,
It's a character called Zahir in Avatar.
yeah, no, you're right. I'm pretty sure the spelling's very different, but still, yeah, you're right.
But that just
It sounds
sounds
the same. It
Every
works.
time you've said Zahir, that's exactly who I've been picturing.
That's probably not good for your health in the long run. He looks a lot less threatening. But
Don't make
that's
us brave.
Zahir did some fucked up shit. I don't know.
Oh, he really did. Really did.
He's basing it
Um,
off of looks, though.
Yeah.
Well, I do
but
that to help me remember names. So
That's fair enough.
Mhm.
So you bring up that it could have been like some Zahir.
Like,
thing,
yeah,
or-
I could have. I just kind of like the worst case scenario is that it's Zahir trying to control our friend again, because that kind of happened a little bit when he took the cane or the staff from the lunatic from our first mission from the High Curator.
you think Zahir
Which-
was there?
Yeah.
Um,
I think
Fortunately, you're not
Zahir
Zahir.
might have been Zahir. Fucking, I can't do it. No, I lost it. I forgot what the sentence was. Anywho,
Good.
I insert that
Um,
joke trying to make her laugh. Can I do a performance check
Oh.
to see if it makes her laugh?
No.
Go ahead and make your performance
Yes.
check. Humor in times.
This is
of
gonna be
pain
the
is
best
definitely
natural
Got an
one
11,
of
no
come
my
on.
better
life.
coping.
No, come on, I got an 11. I rolled a 9. It's not
Um,
the worst. It could have been a
You
1.
got 9/11. What?
No,
That's what I
I got
heard
9
too.
plus 2.
No. But God damn it, another terrorist attack. We just had one. But with
Starts making 9/11 jokes, and Question just doesn't get it. Just
At least there were no elephants included in this one.
I know, right?
That's fair. So you sort of make this joke, and Question just kind of like tries to hold back a smile, and just I suppose that it could have been a poison, but that is normally how their operatives operate. But normally it's blades and poison, and we didn't see any evidence of any other sort of toxin on them.
What if Wink
Worried
sprung him
that-
out?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Do we know? Wait, do you guys have them? I don't know.
You
I will
don't
look at
know
Question
because you went straight to here.
Yeah. Speaking of snakes, we need to find Fiona and Wink. Wink being Zephyr's magical pet, and Fiona being, I think, his girlfriend? Pet? Thing?
I
Not really
hope
sure.
that's
We should probably
not
find those
that.
two. Hey, listen, I don't question what happens in his sleeping bag, okay?
Oh.
You should.
But yeah, we should look for them. But do you see what I mean? Like, if it was Zephyr that did this, then it would be different, you know?
You might be onto something. Well, I'm sure we'll bring that up. At this point, you've more than arrived at the doorway to his office. The door is not open, but Question is just I think we'll just wait here. If Zephyr wasn't the one that did it, what came? What? Because those were the guards that I asked to watch over his door, and I think that had to have been something to do with him if it wasn't him, the one who did it.
Right, but you were putting extra security in place, and I just feel like I think there are higher priorities here than worrying about you being blamed for the thing that happened. If anything, kind of our fault putting a were-crocodile in Cobalt Soul, you know? So I think regardless of what...
At this point, more worried what will happen to you.
Yeah, you know? Will we still be friends? You think?
Mummy says I can't hang out with you anymore.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
She says you're the wrong sort.
Oh.
Oh my god, bro.
God, that's awful. Go back to England. Go, shoot. Get out of here. It's just and she was sort of looking off, and then her gaze sort of snaps back towards you. I mean, of course. I'm not I understand why you had to go where you did. The timing was unfortunate, but a child's life was at stake. I am not holding it against you in any way.
Still, if she stabs me again.
But I'm not sure. I'm afraid that my opinions and beliefs are not going to hold much weight in this matter.
No, that's all right. Even if I get kicked out, so what? I have to go back to the Golden Ship with my chaps. You know? It's cool. But it was cool learning, you know. I always liked books. Dad didn't like books. I didn't like my dad. That's besides the point, though. For now, we focus on whatever the High Curator wants from us, and then we'll regroup and figure it out, and whatever happens, happens. And we're still friends, so at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
All right. I think that Neil is on his way up. All right. Let's see what he has to say then. And a moment later, you hear his footsteps sort of slowly coming up the stairs, right behind you. as he comes up, you see his demeanor has shifted a little bit since you last saw him. He's relaxed slightly, but there's still this sort of seriousness that is you've only seen sort of glimpse through times before, but now is predominant on his face. All right. Well, could have let yourselves in if you wanted. I will, and he'll push the doors open. Please, each of you take a seat. We have a little bit to discuss. And he'll head
Of course.
behind his desk in his office.
As he's walking in, I'm just gonna be like, I'm very sorry for
Yeah, he just
my
puts his hand up.
okay, fuck, not the hand of disappointment.
As you all settle in, there's no need for apologies at this time. First, I just need to ask you some questions. And he looks towards both of you. Question. I need a little bit of clarification. Said that, well, not both of the individuals are entirely coherent, and I just need to double check the facts. So, your name was brought up. Why was your name brought up in this matter as where our expositors were located tonight, as it is not their general duty? A question will just chime in. There was a I guess we need a little bit further back. And question will sort of begin explaining the situation with Zephyr and why it is you all were using that room for the time being, and we'll eventually get to the place where she was kind of helping out because not all of you were there, and the letter that you had sent and they'd received that drew them a bit further away, and it was at that point that I asked for some assistance from the two of them, as they as you know, we have a little bit of history, and so they owed me a favor, and I was hoping that they'd just be able to watch out. And I didn't know that anything like this would happen to her. And she just kind of begins to spiral a bit, and he just calms her slightly with a gentle gesture. If you need, and he produces from one of his drawers just a tissue, like a cloth tissue, and hands it over the desk towards her. It is all right. Question. They will survive. They have both received worse. We're just trying to get to the bottom of why at this point. All right. So, does all of that track with you, Shul? Do you have anything you'd like to add at this point to this, as there's quite a bit of information that has surfaced about your traveling companions and their unfortunate nature that I wish was brought before us sooner?
Yes. Sorry about that. We didn't, we don't really have a calendar of the moon on us at all times. It's also kind of a new thing for us, only the second time. We've had to deal with it. I will point out though, and then I'll talk about how I don't think that it was Zephyr alone becoming like a crocodile or him alone escaping. I think something just doesn't add up. If he was a crocodile when it happened, then why would they look scuffed like that? And also, if it was Zephyr, why the fuck would they let him out? Obviously they wouldn't. It's it doesn't make sense.
All right. Well, now that we have a bit more context, I will say that I would, any kind of brings you to a bit of a stop before you fully finished explaining your point. We will resolve this in the coming days. However, it appears, as I've been informed, that there is a more current threat. Your friend is missing, and as I now have the more full picture on what it is that his nature is, and again, we will address the ramifications of this in the future. But for now, he's missing in this city, which we have a duty to protect. So, do you have any idea where he could have gone or why this is the case? Any more information as to, as you say, you don't necessarily think it was entirely him? Is there an outside force you think he is working with?
Well, there was this one time where he threw up dark liquid at the Temple of Melora, which, like, sucked because we think Zahir was trying to get into his bones. But, like, I'm pretty sure that was taken care of. But then we tried to go back because we were like, oh, he was like, oh no, gonna turn into crocodile, gotta pray to my god Melora. And they're like, meet me at the forest. And then we tried to go back to the forest, but then the forest tried to stop us. But then we had to go back again because there was a little girl that went missing, and then then there were hags. Well, we don't really know if one of them was a hag, but like,
all right, slow down. The Temple of Melora in forest, you said?
yeah, it was kind of like a shack. It was like a shack, right? I just described the place.
He sort of looks towards Question and then back towards you. I mean, there is a small, albeit small, Temple of Melora here in the Guided District, but I'm not aware of any Temple of Melora or Shack of Melora in the River District. Where did you come by this? Is this... Never mind. We'll get to the bottom of this later. In the meantime, you said that there was some sort of shadowy bile that he was producing.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't it happen again like earlier today before we got here? Didn't he throw up today too?
Trying to remember what, because you guys were split up so much. I'm trying to remember who saw what. You saw earlier in the day there was definitely a shadowy presence in the forest, but I don't believe that Zephyr necessarily threw up any of that black shadowy bile to your knowledge.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot of shadowy motifs happening throughout the day were originally connected to Zephyr to your knowledge, but then also seem to latch themselves onto Nova.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna skip the Nova part for now. I think just letting them know that one of our party members is cursed is good enough for now.
Okay. But they'll just I mean, there are a number of magics and fell sorceries that can manifest in such ways, but I would be deeply concerned with this, as most and many of them are not something that we would take lightly in most circumstance. How long has this been happening? Is this something that has been as long as you have known him, or is this something that, as you say, has been once you have come to this city? Have you had any more exposures to creatures or magics of this dark, shadowy nature before that it could have latched themselves onto him?
I kind of give like an awkward look because like I kind of like
Downstairs,
reminisce
Nova
about all
gets
the
a chill
things.
down her spine and doesn't notice because she's already cold.
I just kind of give him like a confused kind of blank stare as I reminisce about all the weird shit that we've done and all the like when I shoved my arm into that hole that one time. And then like that could have done something. There's like
Let's narrow this down then. as you just kind of like 1,000-yard stare, trying to think of all the things you've done. There are creatures of other planes that tend to weave in magic like this more frequently than others. While any can practice it, most of power like this is drawn from the Shadowfell. Have you had any encounters with beings, either from the lower planes or the Shadowfell, to your knowledge, in your previous adventures with Zephyr?
DM, would I have?
You can roll a history check.
Come on, history, it's a +6. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why are my rolls so loaded, dude? I want them higher.
You think back, you've had, as you said, a number of adventures. You know that many of the creatures that walk the plains of Jorhas have an original connection to the abyssal plains, due to their nature, like sort of spawning from the calamity. You know that like like some of the rifts, like those that you encountered, are places where creatures of the abyss and the other lower planes kind of seep through into Jorhas, as the veil there is quite thin. The Betrayer's Rise was rife with demons and fiends of all sorts of nature. However, the one thing that stands out most to you as you're sort of going through this, jogging your memory, would be the first real escapade you went on with Zephyr, where Nova fell, and there was a fight that ensued afterwards. Eventually, the first time that you had probably seen magic like this of shadow and darkness, was from the goblin seer that you were originally tasked with finding in that swamp. The whole reason you went there was to locate this religious leader of the goblin camp, and they had seemed to have been possessed by some sort of demon. They explained it a little bit to you later, but some of the details might have slipped your mind in that time. But that was there was that sort of dark crystal that you seem to remember. You actually
Oh, the
still
crystal I
have
have in my
pieces of
backpack, you
with
mean?
you. Yeah. There is that dark crystal in which Nova had been imprisoned, or at least parts of her essence, in which you did a ritual at. There was the entity which seemed to have been banished from Bolbora, the goblin seer, was some form of shadow demon or entity. And as you're sort of thinking back to that and remembering all these interactions, yeah, there's a little bit of good bit of overlap between.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Mhm.
just a little bit.
Little bit.
I will
I mean,
relay
your
all of
arm's
that to
literally-
him.
Your arm has literally been in another plane of existence, so
I don't know what you're talking about. I just stuck my arm in a Wallacey, or is it a Floracy?
Floracy.
it was a Floracy. Yeah,
There's a
so I remember
Floracy,
I had to pull you out.
everyone. Probably. Yeah, it was a Floracy.
So yeah, I
She
mean,
could have
between
lost an arm then and then
Jorhas
had a
and the
cool
Betrayer's
robot
Rise,
arm.
I know.
yeah, just her arm. And so yeah, between the Betrayer's Rise, Jorhas, the ritual you did to try and piece Nova back together, the Goblin Seer, which was possessed by some form of shadow entity.
The Dybbuk, which is
Yep, that one too. Yeah, a few
like
times.
everything that we've encountered
yeah.
so far, to be fair.
Ooh.
Good bit of overlap.
Yep.
And
And so
Worda.
it's just all right. Uh, all right, then, if that is the case, might be more difficult to unfold than we'd hoped. We are currently, we sent out some envoys looking for remnants of the individual that led the attack here. Although they did not have all the information, they were just looking for signs of things going awry. I've not heard much back yet, though, but it has only been a short time. If your friend is behind this, well, we'll deal with what needs to happen next later. But for the time being, I need to know that you can be accounted on for some amount of responsibility for his actions in terms of making right by this.
I don't have a lot of money, but whatever you need to be done, I'll get done. In hindsight, it was a bad idea, maybe not to let more people know about it, but to be honest, we're kind of new at this whole
If they are not in
thing.
control of themselves, and they are going to attempt to level part of this city with whatever entity has attached themselves or aided them or coerced with them behind your back, I need to know that you will aid us in bringing him down before he kills hundreds of innocent.
Oh, they're asking me if I'll kill my friend if it comes to it.
Oh.
It's your question.
Grabbing various tomes, putting them together. You see there's a few that are looking through some information. You see that there are some individuals that are coming up from the there is on the opposite side of the building from where you have just exited from like the lower floor. On the opposite side, there is a mirrored doorway that sort of leads down, but you've never seen it like used or open. It is one door here that you has like remained very apparently locked and has some amount of heft and security to it, but you see very rarely individuals come and go from it, and you see that the door is currently being appears to be guarded, but is swinging freely as a few individuals sort of go back and forth through it. Again, it appears to be acolytes or librarians that are of the more studious nature, as opposed to the individuals that are following behind you now. There's two of them in tow. They you hear the two that you were discussing with who were investigating the crime scene below turn one toward the other again and gives an instruction again in Marquesian language, which you don't quite pick up on. But the second individual who's doing note taking sort of darts away and heads deeper in towards the library. All right. Well, if you don't mind, we have a little bit of information we need to relay, but I sense that there might be a big picture going on that we might need to be clued in on before we make more drastic action. So if you don't mind following me, and he begins leading towards the back of the library, towards the staircase heading towards the upper floors. Do either of you have anything you want to do, or are you just going to follow in tow?
I just kind of look at Nova and be like, "You want to follow that guy?"
I guess we have to.
Okay, and then we should follow.
Okay.
Just-
As you sort of like follow, you also note that there's definitely quite a few people here for the time in the library. It's not normally this busy in the evening, but most of them do seem to be members of the Cobalt Soul. It doesn't seem to be, from what you can tell, any outsiders. And you also sort of note in your periphery that it does appear the doors to the library are, at least for the time, closed, which is a bit different. Definitely like a bit of an energy, hustle, bustle, and a bit of an on edge sense as everything's kind of going down. You follow this librarian per se, this agent of the Cobalt Soul, towards the back of the library, and he will sort of quickly head up the stairs, waiting momentarily at points for you to follow. But eventually, you will be led to the third floor, where he will pause for just a moment. Cool. Are
Yes.
you all good?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So you um uh I don't remember what it is you were in the middle of answering before everything cut out. But
I asked. So I asked like out of character. So he's like asking me if I would like
yes, that's right.
if
Yeah.
I'll kill Zephyr if it comes to it, essentially.
Yes, it seems he's asking if it comes down to it, can you be relied upon to choose the safety of the innocents over your companion, your traveling companion?
I will just look at him and say, "Don't make me say it, but I'll do what needs to be done."
All right then. Question.
Ask away.
All of this requires further discussion, but for now, I take it you will be traveling with them and ensuring that whatever needs to happen happens and that we are kept in the loop. The rest of us are heading down some other leads, and well, frankly, we're a little bit short-handed for a crisis like this at the moment, as there have been other issues going on. But hopefully by the morning we'll have most of this resolved. I won't have more large-scale problems that we are dealing with. So I suggest the two of you hurry, and a moment later you hear a knock on the door. Yes, come in. And you will see at the door, sure. At the door is a unfamiliar to you member of the Cobalt Soul. They appear in similar garb to those that were in the hospital, though, there, or the infirmary here, a bit more ready for action. This one does appear to be armed, which is not common for these individuals. They open up. Jamila, there is a couple of individuals here who. I see. Apologies for interrupting. Jamila just. No, that is well timed. I take it the two of you understand. It looks like your friends are here.
Oh, are
right,
these the French guys?
Yeah, these are the French guy who sounds like half the city. Yes. And you can see Maroc just behind him as you sort of turn towards the door.
Hello.
I'll wave very like, hey guys,
Ça va?
I'm gonna let do fromage.
You just all right. Quickly now, as we have yet to locate the issue. But that's us towards this individual. Yes, if you wanted to remain, I am going to need an update from you on the happenings downstairs, as well as and the sort of conversation begins to deafen as you guys are sort of ushered out by question in a bit of a hurry. Just all right. This has gone from interesting to bad to worse to chaotic.
We just
So
got here.
yes, and now we're going to need to leave because while we are not on the hook for the moment, I take it if hundreds of innocent families or churches are razed or other horrible things happen, then I think we're all going to be in deep trouble. So let's try and find Zephyr before all of that happens.
If only we knew where
You know what,
Zephyr was.
You don't want hundreds of innocent churches being raised.
Let's all split into different parts of the city and search for him right now.
This is a good idea. I like
Yes,
it.
let's do that as you all begin heading towards the exit.
Make sure that nobody's at the Cobalt Soul when Baba arrives.
Make sure we have no way to contact each other at all while we're looking.
Oh.
Yes, and so that's exactly what's going to happen. As Baba invisibly, around this time you arrive at the door to the Cobalt Soul, although it is closed, and there does appear to be a number of individuals keeping watch on the outside, not openly armed,
Let me
but
in.
even more watch than there was earlier in the day.
Alright. Well, Baba's just gonna try and barge through. Like he's in a rush.
You head up to
Give the god a heart attack.
And go to just sort of throw it open. The rest of you, as you're escorted out, you are escorted out quickly by question. Will arrive in the entryway as question expertly avoids a door flying open to her face.
Did she do a backflip?
Yes, actually, it's quite impressive, and pulls Shul out of the way as well. I rolled a dexterity saving throw for Fate's door, and she got a 20.
Yes!
Natural 20.
Nice.
Yay!
So sort of pulls you away as the front door is a little bit more quickly than normal, opened, and you see quite a few individuals immediately jump to attention. And you all see that there does appear to be nothing between you and the door. Baba, you are faced with a room full of a bunch of eyes immediately gazing towards you, but you can't quite see, or they can't quite see what it is they are looking at. But you can see Question, who is just pulled back Shul in front of you, the rest of your troop, and probably about half a dozen Cobalt Soul librarians who, instead of dropping their books, are looking towards you like they're about to start a fight, although they don't quite have eyes on you.
It's like a scene in
stab the
Dogs
ghost.
where there's like a scene in it, like where there's like bunch of crowd getting angry and somebody just throws a chair and everybody starts fighting. Baba in his hate has forgotten that he's invisible. He's like, where the hell is Zephyr? I need to see Zephyr right now.
You all hear Baba from the doorway in front of you.
Baba?
Baba just kind of like
Are you dead?
Baba's gonna push it fast, like it's nobody's doing like goddamn I gotta do everything myself around here, and he's just gonna
He's not Zeph here.
Like down towards
he's Zeph out there. Yeah, he's not Zeph here.
So you all feel Baba like push past you, but you can't see him as he's complaining about doing everything himself.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Baba will kind of beeline for the cell where Zephyr is hopefully safe and sound.
So you push past all your companions who just seem a bit confused and don't seem to answer your questions right away. Other than he's not Zahir, he's out. He's the Zahir or
Wait,
whatever.
was that actually said out
I
loud?
Yes.
I assumed.
Oh god.
Yes.
But like,
I'm having a pun day.
what
Oh,
the hell does that mean?
I thought it was Friday.
It's Valentine's.
What
I'm
the hell?
just trying to be funny, guys.
What does that mean? What do you mean he has his
No,
event
don't
out
worry. He's not here. He broke out.
Oh, and but like,
Happy.
damn it, question, you had one job. All right, everybody, grab silver
Oh.
weapons. I know where. I think I saw him. Shit.
Okay.
Oh. And with that, Bob, are you heading? Where are you heading?
Baba's gonna try and like go to like wherever silver weapons were last time.
Oh, all right.
Wait, was Baba
fair.
there for when the silver weapons were being handed? I can't
You
remember.
you weren't there for that. That was just Marak
Oh,
and
okay.
Nova.
Okay,
But I'm pretty sure
that.
you left your mace with Marak,
Yeah.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, unfortunately. Wait, does Marak still have my mace on him?
I should do. Yeah.
Alright, Baba's gonna
Yeah.
grab a fucking mace off of wherever Marak's holding it.
Hey, which way are you reaching?
Alright, let's go. Come on, we ain't got we don't got no time to lose. We got a shadow crocodile demons in town.
Shadow?
Oh.
Oh, no.
I need to hear him go again like, God damn it, question, like under his breath.
Oh.
It's not her fault. I try to smack Baba, but I think my hand would probably go through him, right?
Mrs.
It
Baba
doesn't go
slapped
through him.
question.
It's just it's more of a matter of you can't see him. Like when he brushes past you, when he grabs stuff on the rock, like he's there. He's just invisible, which is a bit new for him, as far as you're aware. And so it's like, yeah, you can try and smack him if you want, but there's a good chance that you're just gonna hit air because you can't see him.
I think we should go to a bright and sunny place after this.
The
Yeah.
desert. How much brighter and sunnier do you want it to
I
be?
was gonna say.
Oh, arg.
You could go out of the city and into the wide open dunes.
I mean, we can
some
do
of
like a
the wastes.
Spelljammer campaign where we just go to the surface of the sun, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That would be bright and sunny. But so it's just in this sort of flurry, it appears as there doesn't seem to be any immediate threat and just lots of conversation. All the various librarians and acolytes of the church seem to not be immediately like they are going to start a fight with the rest of you. But there definitely was a moment there where if things went sideways, you'd have a little bit of a bar fight in here, possibly. But
Save that for later.
Yes, we'll save that for later. But that said, with a little bit of gumption and direction, Baba leads you out, or at least his voice implies that he's leading you out. And Baba, are you just tally ho sending it, or are you actually going to guide the? Okay. So you all hear his.
Baba doesn't know he's invisible. He's like, stop your lollygagging and follow me. And he kind of like gestures with his hand, like, come on.
So you are aware, like it's one of those things, like if you look at your hands, like you kind of get like that shimmery outline of like where your own body is type thing. But that said, if you just want to play it out as you're not aware, go for it. I'm not going to stop.
It's kind of like like a thing, or like there's been like reports where like people like when you're like watching the like you're like, oh, look how many times this bull gets passed, and then you're counting a bull, and then like somebody in a bee suit will just walk through your shot and you won't notice it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of situation. It's a high stress situation. So Baba is probably not. He's probably not constantly registering that he can't see his hands.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think he's playing a video game.
See your hands.
You're like, wait, was my gun not on the screen the whole time? What?
You look down. There's just nothing.
I mean, you can follow the clattering of pots and pans so pretty easily.
Yeah, no, it's not hard to note, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like you go out and normally when you
if all the
come
light
and gone
is passing
from
through my eye, how is my eye seeing it?
Yeah, we don't think about that kind of thing in D&D, okay, man? It's just magic. Leave your physics at home.
So, you all hear the shout of Baba's rallying cry, and clank of his various adornments. And as he sort of heads out, unlike normally when you've come and gone from the Cobalt Soul, he begins to head deeper into the guided district here, sort of more towards the edges of the city, as you hear him clanking through the streets.
Yeah.
Question is going to push you all to follow, as this seems to be the best lead you have.
Follow the
which is just like,
noise. Follow Baba's ghost,
uh,
everyone.
And so you all begin sending off in that direction.
I'm gonna miss
Alrighty.
him.
It'd be a hilarious twist if the dude from a temple just killed Baba on the spot.
Oh.
Just a ghost.
Yeah, so Baba didn't realize, but he's actually not here anymore.
Oh.
He thought that he didn't realize he was invisible this whole time, but he
He just
didn't
wants to watch
realize he
them
was
now.
dead this whole time. Alrighty. So with that, as you all begin heading off towards this direction after Baba, I'm going to need a second just to grab some water and stuff, and then we will see how you all where you all arrive and what you encounter in just give me like 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Hey, starting the timer now.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a snack really quick. I'll be right back.
Mhm.
No, I want a snack, but I can't have them. It's well, I have to diet because I'm unhealthy to begin with, so yeah, I'm just tired of my joints exploding.
But hold
Yeah,
on.
She she's on holiday this weekend. She's going to Alberta, and she begged her trainer to let her have one cheat meal for her entire holiday. So she's traveling on the fucking airplane, and she's had to like pre-cook all of her food for her holiday and take it with her.
Jesus Christ.
I just think that if I did that, I'd be miserable.
Oh no, I mean, she's kind of weird. She's addicted to working out. Like if she doesn't go to the gym for like a day, she starts shaking.
Like food is like the one reliable good thing in my life. If I had to give up food, I don't think I'd make it, guys. Like,
No, I feel that.
like, I can't go outside. I can't do things. Food's good.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Saskatchewan. This is basically the same thing here. I mean, I can go outside, but I don't want to because it's -40.
Yeah, how many feet of snow is it today?
Oh god, we didn't get any snow today, but we've had a bunch of snow, so it hasn't gone away. So we've got like the areas where I haven't shoveled is probably about 3 or 4 feet of snow.
That sounds so cool, though. I want to go for like one day.
You're welcome to come visit. It's a bit of a flight for one day, but you know,
yeah,
you're probably not gonna want to stay longer anyway. So
yeah, I don't want to be in the cold too long. But I do want to make an igloo.
Yeah, you can do that. Mostly by accident these days.
All I have to do is lie down, and then wait for the snow to cover me, and then like slide out, and then I'll be an igloo.
There you have it.
Full size. It's crazy.
Family of 4.
The rent will only be $1,200.
So,
I'll rent it out as an Airbnb.
Luxury, local,
artisan,
local amenities. Yeah, artisan home. Only $270 a night. Really a steal. Amenities not included.
Excellent location, great views. You
Plumbing.
know, so close to nature.
Alrighty.
Air conditioning.
It's always at the nice cool temperature of whatever the fuck it was when you got there. And with that,
friendly.
All natural.
Recyclable.
So you don't even have to turn down the room when it is taking care of itself. So you all begin heading after Baba. Everyone's back, right? It was. I think I heard everyone. Okay. Cool. You all begin heading after Baba. Thinking down through the streets. As he leads you on towards glory, victory, or probably, hopefully, not death.
Maybe somebody's death.
Is there anything any of you are doing as you're following him down the streets in search of Zephyr?
Are my swords still ignited? I need to ask because it's awkward. Because they last until the end of the day, and it's getting kind of late. Like it specifically says like the day.
It'll hit like 12 p.m. and
so like
it'll turn back into a pumpkin.
So at midnight, my swords will just like fade, and I need to cut myself again.
That's very emo.
And we're all on the cut lately, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
When's Max refeed?
What's the it's the Crimson right?
Yeah. Like the wording is like specifically like at like the day. Oh no, it does say until you finish a long rest. Okay.
Yeah.
So no.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So you finish a short or long rest.
Okay, no. I got confused because I remembered it didn't work if I slept, like if I was knocked out.
That's fair. I mean,
So I assumed that's how it worked, but
to be fair, it is, third party stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some weird little quirk in there like that. But no,
yeah, I just wanted to
looks
make
like
sure
you
that I
should
didn't
be
need
good.
to. I wanted to make sure I didn't need to reignite. Hey, can I
I
get
don't
a
think it
light?
goes away if you like sheath it or anything, right?
No.
It's just until you rest.
So I've been glowing
Okay.
this whole time.
Yeah. I imagine that you could put them away and it would be a muffled glow, but it's
Yeah.
still a glow. All right,
I
then.
mean, it's not usually a bad thing to glow with holy radiance. You know, it usually gives people a good impression
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, it's not like, necrotic shadows creeping over your shoulders or something.
It's like this hairy dude showing up in lingerie in the middle of the night, but it's okay. He's glowing with holy radiance, guys. It's fine.
From his twin blades.
We're not going to get murdered and our skin worn as a trench coat today.
All righty. So, as you begin heading off towards the invisible sounds of Baba clanking through the streets, or maybe undead, who knows? Maybe he's a ghost that you can't see. And Marak, are you drawing your weapons, or you just wanted to make sure you won't have to?
I just checked them as they're running.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's still good. At least for now. Anything else that anyone else wants to check or make sure is ready or prepare or cast or anything else you would like to do, anything you're looking out for, as you're sort of following, running down these streets, and Baba, as you're leading them, is there anything that you're doing, or are you just going back to where you were?
Beelining back to where we were. He's
Okay.
gonna. He will ever like. Marak, I think I found you a friend. You guys are gonna get along real good. He's even hairy like you, and he hates werewolves.
Oh shit! Yeah, my people. It's been so long since I've seen somebody that I could relate to in this place.
All these smooth skins.
Oh yeah, actually, I do think I wanna stow one of my like scimitars, and then use my right to activate the whip to like ignite the whip, to use it in my offhand.
Okay, so you're
So I'm gonna have a scimitar in one hand and a whip in the other, and one of my scimitars is
okay.
gonna be in my.
Got it. All right, sounds good. So activate or do what you need to for the whip. For your.
Oh, not too bad.
You all
Then
hear
I've got
Mohawk,
a silvered glowing holy whip.
There you
This
go.
is gonna fuck him up. From 15 feet away. Just fuck you.
What a thing! A bladed silver glowing holy whip of long armedness.
You get the sentinel feet, and you're good to go.
Yeah, hold on, master.
There we
go. Alrighty. As you sort of begin as you begin sort of following, you make a dashes through a few different streets, but not too far later, you all begin to hear in around a couple corners the sounds of some conflict. There's shouting, there's a little a bit of screaming, but it mostly seems to be barking, like almost like barking orders, like yelling out in a fight. And
that's the signal, guys. That's what we're listening for.
My idea of what I was expecting changed so much during that sentence. I was like, barking? I was like, I thought he was a different kind of werewolf.
Right. No, I was going to say like barking of orders, but then I was like, is that really what I was going for? And I was like, yeah, close enough. But but just that sort of stern voices sort of cutting over the like a din of the rest of the events. You will see a number of you are going to pass by individuals going in the opposite direction. They look like they are more impoverished, like less well-to-do individuals that are kind of grabbing at a few items in their possession and just kind of like running in the opposite direction of you as you're passing through the streets. A few of them just kind of have like wild eyes. Quite a few of them you can see like beads of sweat building up on their face and are kind of like sprinting past you in the opposite direction.
No, I'm just imagining that we're fighting something that has a move called Ray of Poverty. So we're just, if it hits you, you have to make like a, I don't know, charisma saving throw, or you become poor.
It turns all gold in
Make
the area into bronze, into copper.
Copper. Electrum. You can't spend it anywhere.
Oh.
So as you sort of come around the corner, you can see there is you begin to see as Bobo sort of led you a little bit like to the edge of the city first, and now you're cutting along the side. There is on the side of the cliff face that sort of looms over the side of the city this mausoleum and like graves and paths along the side of the cliff faces marking all these different entrances. You see symbols and family names and stuff that are carved into the stone that is illuminated in the clear moon night. And along this kind of following the edge of the wall here as it breaks into the cliffside, not too far ahead of you, but around the corner, you begin to see where this moonlight is being drowned out, and you begin to see this sort of darkness that is creeping over the side of the cliff face as at a certain point ahead of you almost like a shadow was cast over this flat area. There's just this sort of darkness, and you see in it within this sort of like dome shadow that's quite large, hundreds of feet in each direction, most likely. You see little bits of ice starting to form on the buildings in front of you. If it was raining, it might snow, but there's this coldness that begins to hit you as you are running and approaching. From within this area of shadow and dark, you see movement darting back and forth. You see like almost tendrils of this sort of shadowy darkness reaching out, smashing towards things. But on the edge of it, almost as you're sort of approaching from the side along the wall of the city, you see kind of on your right hand side, there is one individual who is standing just on the edge of the darkness, arms open, and little bits of sort of red light, streaks of magic are sort of emanating out from them as they appear to be trying to hold this shadow at bay, keeping it from getting further into their city, into the city which they've put to their back. And you see a couple other individuals that are, as there are some like kind of fences and markings and memorials and stuff in the front of this temple here, kind of scattered throughout it. As you get closer, you begin to see a couple more individuals in dark robes who are sort of holding whatever this entity is back from getting further. But you can also see that at least one, if not two, have fallen to the ground and are laying sort of on the edge of the shadow. One of them appears to be being tended to by another who is crouched down, currently being guarded over by one of these individuals. And you just see these little like red, almost like glows. It's similar. It's like they've sort of created some sort of cage here, and you see them focusing greatly, but the entity on the other side of this barrier that they've concocted is lashing out vigorously. And for just a moment, as you draw in closer, you see this pair of almost like, imagine like bloodshot but yellow eyes that sort of glare in every direction. They whip by, but then settle for a moment, and furious, almost screeching and cackling coming from the inside. As you all sort of come into this scene, going to be where we pick up next time, as this could take quite some time to get through, depending on how it goes. But I am looking forward to seeing how you deal with this beautiful cacophony of chaos.
I'm really glad that you phrased it as like that guy was like stopping the darkness. Because I was like, he's casting it! It's like,
Kill him.
just immediately tackles him.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I added enough description there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because my gut reaction was, attack! And then you
Right.
kept talking. I was like, maybe not. Hold on.
I like
So-
the notion that you'd go first before Baba in initiative, and you just like sprint at him, and Baba's like, "All right, there's that friend I was talking to yours." And you just fucking full send tackle him.
I've got a 15-foot reach, right, my guy? I'm getting there first.
Just whip him in the face.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay,
I
so-
guess for context for Baba, the individuals that you see sort of on the edge of this, you do recognize as members of the order. And also, I suppose note, probably, I don't know how much it would have. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I doubt it would change anything for Baba before he as how he was conducting himself. But all of you, while following closely behind to the sound of him loudly running through the streets, he would come into view, slipping out of his invisibility, probably about a block or two away before this happened. So it's like you're all running behind him, and then you're actually running as you before this mausoleum came into view. And so yeah, Baba, the individuals around the edge, you recognize their garb as the Dusk Maven acolytes, and the one individual who seems to be a bit worse for wear, but sort of seemingly the source for whatever is holding this creature back, is the
Oh, the Valentine's Day picture.
furry individual you had conversation with before leaving.
Okay, so our game plan for next week is I think we should appeal to Zephyr's better nature. We can say Zephyr isn't you. We can use the power of friendship. If it comes to it,
Our friendship.
we can tell him to fight it, over and over. And then I think we should do a group hug. And,
Yeah.
and that should solve it.
Yeah, I was thinking
That is
the
how
other
it always works out.
option is to just nuke him,
With
and
friendship.
then
You.
while he's
Whoa.
down, tie him up like we did last time.
Yeah, you think so, but like that's just kicking the can down the road. We're gonna do this all again next month.
Yeah,
The
but
question is not gonna learn from his fucking lesson. She's
I
gonna
prefer
let
when the
Zephyr leave again.
can. I prefer when the cat isn't trying to bite my face off. You see, that's
Like,
the
man, that's not. I mean, have you never gotten your finger cut on a can? This is how they operate. Like, it's the
no.
scorpion and
I open them
the scorpion
properly.
and the fox.
No, I've actually never cut my finger on a can. What?
Wow, have you ever opened a can?
Yeah,
Wow,
like every day of my life.
wow, you guys have fancy cans in Britain, I guess. Like rounded corners, safety cans.
Safety can.
I've actually had like one of those safety can openers. They're fucking great.
For a while, they had those cans where like you like rotate the top. Have you seen those? Like the cans that you can like reseal.
I don't think I've
Like a
seen
bottle
that.
cap.
No, they're like this. It's like you know, like you have to like twist like you know like deodorant to get it to work. Sometimes
Yeah, kind of like.
it's like that, but a can.
Oh, I've never seen that. You guys really have the fancy cans in Britain. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I guess if you're selling like most of the world's supply of baked beans, you're probably gonna figure out some fancy can solutions.
Where is it? Yeah, this is what they look like. So,
Oh.
in order to open them, you just pull that like sticker off, and then you can rotate
the
it to like
fuck?
seal it back up.
Wow.
That really is a fancy. I have never seen
Whoa.
something like
I'm
this
not gonna
before
call
in
them
my
fancy
life.
pants. It's fancy cans.
They're really useful. They're good for like when you have like one of those
I
like
bet.
fucking like Red Bull cans as big as your forearm. Like,
Oh.
What the fuck?
and you're like, you shouldn't drink all of this. Someone's saying.
Why would
Really,
they
why
even
not?
offer that?
Because you can have gratuitous amounts of energy.
Jesus,
I've had them before.
Hell.
that's terrifying. Alrighty. Well, I hope everyone had a good time. And is there any conflicts for next week? Anyone have any issues coming?
Yeah, we're gonna be fighting a giant werewolf
Yeah,
alligator.
seems
That's
like
our
conflict.
conflict for next week.
Yeah, it's interpersonal.
Yeah.
Should be okay.
Thank you for the session, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very fun.
that section felt very quick.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of stuff did
We have,
happen.
we have
I
objectives
felt-
now.
I think it's because most of the session was just me being like, "Yay, podcast!" And I mean that in a nice way, not as like a criticism. I'm just like, "Yeah, I get to sit down comfy and just listen."
Fair
I like
enough. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I think what should happen is
Oh.
like that Zeph, so Marak and our new furry friend should be drawn exactly the same way in the doodles coming up.
One has a hat, one doesn't have a hat.
Yeah, so
That's
at
it.
some
I'm
point,
a
That's the only
bugbear.
difference.
I'm a
So-
bugbear, and he's a European orc. That's all there is.
Greek orc.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. and apparently, question is Lebanese.
Lebanese.
Wait,
Yes,
what?
yeah, the Arabic French speakers.
Oh,
Oh.
right.
Lebanese.
Well, with that, oh, I did also, just because it's been a joke of recent, I did poke into where you guys are at in terms of progression and stuff. So I know it's been like 6 months, or at least it feels that way. But you guys have done one task since you leveled
Oh.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Was it to get killed by elephants?
Oh.
Or,
I mean,
well,
I don't
was
think
it-
we're actually
that.
Oh,
What was that?
love
Mhm, what was that?
elephants.
Yeah. Yes, the finding the headquarters and the elephant issue and that whole situation. That was the last thing you did, and you leveled just before that.
Wow.
So
what you're saying is
it's
you-
been
what
like
you're saying is we
2
should've leveled up.
days in game.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure it out because I know you guys have been joking about it, but I was like,
I
okay,
actually
let's actually do
don't
the
think
math.
It's been leveling that slow. I just like making comments about it.
I
bet.
know.
I
Yeah.
just want you to know that
but-
that's not it's not like genuine criticism.
I figured as much, but I also just wanted, because sometimes I'm like, wait, has it been a while? Because there have been a few times where you guys have done a lot, and I'm just like, wait, I feel like they should have leveled up. But when I was looking at it, I was like, oh no, it's been like 2 days in game. It's just been a long time
I
because
feel like
we've
we
had a
also
lot
have,
of
like-
shopping episodes.
We have like 3 things that we've half done. So
Yeah,
we're gonna like
that's
we're gonna like wrap up all of our stuff and we're gonna level up like 4 times in a row.
it could look something like that.
I think we only have 4 level ups in the entire rest of the campaign. So
Yeah, there you go. There you have it.
Yippee.
Technically 5. I think.
Only if
Yeah,
we, only if
yeah,
you
technically 5.
Well, I mean, so if we, at our current pace, we've been playing for coming up on what, 2.5 years now?
No, 3 years. We started around like March. I think.
Okay, coming up on 3 years. Wow. We have the anniversary fucking podcast or episode. It's like you know when the sitcoms have like their filler episodes at the end of a season where we just do flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
We just have one of those.
Mhm.
I'll just be us sitting like in a common room of Google Soul, and we're like, hey, do you remember when you stuck your hand in that flusy, and then we have a flashback to that episode, and we just do the fight again.
No.
Yeah, we had a teaser for that today.
Or
But
When you
yeah,
were
so
like,
there's
so has your party encountered anything from the Feywilds? I was like, what haven't we encountered from the like other planes and shit? Like,
right. Anything from the lesser planes, flashbacks to all the traumatic encounters with everything from the lower planes.
And then we'll have flashbacks to episodes
Oh.
to things that never happened, like the beach episode.
Oh.
That'd be funny.
Where Rock is feeling insecure about his bikini.
I need to get my bikini line shaved.
I was gonna say, like, didn't get a haircut first. But yeah, with that also I'd say there's 5 levels left in the module story. But outside of that, we're going to go until everyone leaves. Or sick.
I mean, I did upload the PDF for the Epic Legacy Codex, so we can go past all 20.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, you heard those games where it's like a 50-year-old D&D game or something, where they're just like, yes, all of us are level 20 in 6 different classes. Finally, our grandkids are coming around. We just don't have as much time as we used to, so we're gonna play our last game.
Yeah, I saw a figure of it like the other day where we guys like trying to figure out how to finish this 30-year-old campaign.
Wow.
You don't finish it
because
because eventually you will die.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what?
Of old age in real life.
Org.
Yep. But on that happy note, thank you all for coming, and look forward to seeing you next week, and look forward to seeing how you decide to deal with this.
Yeah, excited to see what choices Zephyr will make next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine.
maybe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
He's gonna load his dice so that way we get fucked.
Oh.
Feel it.
I rolled
It's gonna
shitty
hit
last
hard.
week, so hopefully it's better.
Yeah, but I feel like the last time you were a were-crocodile, you rolled really fucking good for no reason. That's why
Didn't you
Noble
crit me immediately and put me down in one hit?
I don't remember.
Maybe.
Possibly. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was like, finally, a werewolf, and then you just dropped me. You know what I mean? It didn't help that it was so immediately after a boss fight.
Yeah. That part was
So,
rough.
I think it's funny that the end of each season is like, oh, we might cause mass destruction to a town that we've been staying in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah,
very nice.
because we
Very
definitely
nice.
didn't last time.
No.
There's no evidence that we did.
Exactly.
I think the only place that you spent time at where there wasn't an imminent threat of you destroying the town or failing to stop the town being destroyed was Jigao with the festival.
We were also really good at the Emerald Loop, okay? They like us there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I gave Front Butt a new home.
Front Butt.
Damn it.
Right.
You know, if we fail here as bad as we did in Baza, I'm just gonna go live in the woods. If we're responsible for another entire region just getting assaulted by demons, I don't think I can deal with that. I think I just need to go off the grid and Bear Grylls it for a while. Just...
I've been living off my fishnet and my own piss for the last 6 months, guys. Great.
Stronger than ever. Strong as a bear, you could say.
Are we all good for next week?
Yeah.
For next week, yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Next week.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
Looking forward to it. Have a good week, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Talk to you later.
Bye, friends.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo! That was so fun. That was so fun, guys. I'm gonna go be right back. I'm gonna go to a little bathroom break. And so I can read this one. What the heck? Hold on. Why can't we listen to David Hasselhoff? Alright, whatever. Change the song. I will be right back. Definitely check out the cool little promo for the little Valentine's because that's happening today. I don't really know what we're gonna do when I come back. I think I'm gonna play some Gecko Shop Sim, probably. So I'll put that there, and I'll be right back. I love you guys.